Hi. So another core concept in socialism is the idea of common ownership. This often takes the form of nationalisation, state nationalisation, where the state buys up the private sector, so assets are transferred from the private sector to the public sector. But it could take other forms. So you could have cooperatives, such as workers' cooperatives, where the profits are shared between the workers and managerial decisions are made democratically. And the elements of common ownership in terms of cooperatives such as the John Lewis Partnership in the UK, where profits are shared between the workers, or indeed, for example, within mutualised building societies such as Nationwide, which is non-profit making, and the profits go to savers and indeed help borrowers. And lastly, of course, we have communes. So in the early socialists, such as Robert Owen, were keen on the idea of locally, collectively owned, say, factories, assets, and then the proceeds of sales are all distributed between the workers. He set up New Harmony in the United States in 1825, but of course due to poor management this didn't really work out very well. Another system of common ownership is perhaps the kibbutz system, which has been successful. This is only, of course, a very small part of the Israeli economy. So this really leaves nationalisation. And the reason why socialists are so concerned about private property is they see private wealth as encouraging, as a key part of capitalism, which is unjust, because the wealth is created by collective human endeavour, yet it's owned by a few individuals who gain the profits, of course. And they see this as morally unfair. We also see it as morally corrupting because it encourages acquisitiveness, selfishness, it encourages materialism, so that people show off about their wealth and about their income, and the bonds that bring us together as people are reduced as a consequence. They see it as encouraging competition. They certainly see it as divisive. It's dividing the haves and the have-nots, the rich from the poor. Okay, and of course, lastly, often these industries aren't always run in the public interest. So therefore, many socialists argue that private property is the root of the class system, that private property brings about profit, and the profit motive is selfish and doesn't encourage collective cooperation. But there's, of course, a spectrum here. So we have a spectrum between the communists, people such as Stalin and other Marxists, right the way over to the Third Way, which was very influential on Blair and Brown, and also in the United States on the Democrats and Clinton. Let's start. Let's indeed start here. The Third Way. Basically, they believe in economic efficiency and social justice. So we want to deal with the problem of social exclusion, but the Labour government actually privatised National Air Traffic Service, for example. So they kind of reversed some nationalisation to a tiny extent. However, social democrats, such as Crossland, believe in a mixed economy. And Crossland would say it's not ownership that matters, it's the distribution of wealth, the distribution of income, which you can sort out with progressive taxation. So you don't need to worry and get het up too much about ownership, as long as I suppose you have a mixed economy. However, Fabian socialists, what you might call democratic socialists, such as the Webbs, believe really in nationalisation that would take place gradually. So Clause 4 of the Labour Party Constitution in 1918, it talks about the public ownership, or common ownership rather, of the means of production, distribution and exchange. And therefore key strategic industries the commanding heights of the economy, inverted commas, should be nationalised. And the 45-51 government, of course, undertook a fair extent of a fair amount of nationalisation, such as steel, coal, the utilities, the railways. Okay, and that brings us really to the Stalinist Marxist view that all private property should be abolished in terms of land, in terms of capital, such as factories. Obviously, your own possessions are a different matter, pretty well. So there you have it: common ownership, nationalisation, key totemic socialist ideas from the 19th and the 20th century. Okay, thank you.